Happy New Year. What up? I be that Sequential Geek. Welcome to my channel, Sequential Geek. Comic book haul 69, part 44 in effect. Thank you so much for visiting. Appreciate your curiosity. If you are new to my channel, if you are a returning subscriber, what up? Much appreciated. Returning, checking out my wares. Your comments and feedback are always appreciated. And let's get on with the haul. Rocking in 2024 with Dawn, #1. That's right. I don't know much about the publication history of Dawn. All right. C0mics Linsner, that's a name that I've known for quite a while. But as far as the publication history of Dawn, from what I've looked up, her first appearance is from C0mics Linsner, this gentleman right here, the writer-illustrator. It's from his DIY, his self-published publication label called Cry for Dawn Publications. In 1989, when they started, his title, Cry for Dawn, issue #1, lasted for 9 issues, and that started in 1989. It didn't last very long, the Cry for Dawn Publications label, until 1993. But then in the following year, C0mics Linsner teams up with Greg Williams. That's his name. Greg Williams is the artist-writer that goes under the name The Dark One. And I've shown off his comic books under Sirius label. That's Greg Williams' publishing label that he started with C0mics Linsner, who is the chief creative officer of Sirius. And C0mics Linsner has got now this Dawn series, but it's out in 1995. And Sirius started right after Cry for Dawn Publications ended. So Sirius started in 1994. And your Dawn stories, you've got Cry for Dawn, right? And then they reprinted the Cry for Dawn stories in 1994 under the title Angry Christ Comics. And then you have a one-shot by C0mics Linsner called Drama. And that's in 1994 from Sirius. So you got her first appearance from Cry for Dawn Publications, that 9-issue series. Then you've got Sirius Comics, 1994, just called Drama. It's a one-shot. It's new Dawn stories. They reprinted her Cry for Dawn stuff from Sirius Angry Christ Comics, as I reiterate. And then in 1995, you have her first self-titled series here that ran for 6 issues, 1995. So that's the Dawn publication history that I'm aware of. If there are any one-shots in between that you think are standout for collectors, let me know. But I mean, this is just crazy looking at the quality of this artwork from, we're talking 30 years ago, and just to see what's coming out of these companies like Marvel and DC when they're owned by, like the richest globalist conglomerates on the planet, right? And yet, I mean, regardless of budgets and their licensing goals and all that, you would think that they would still want to kick ass publishing dope comics, right? Like have the majority of their titles be this level of quality is my point. They got the money. What they make from comics in a year, they make in, I don't know, a week or a month from all their hedge funds. So it's like, look at that artwork. Outstanding. So Sirius, this is a little bit of a publishing history for you regarding Dawn, and a little bit of sample, some outstanding C0mics Linsner artwork. Up next. So Sirius, this publication label, it ran from 1994 to 2007. Interestingly enough, I just noticed the next title that I'm going to be showing off here is the Virgin Comics label. Yeah, let's check it out. Jenna Jameson. So Jenna Jameson, Shadowhunter, the C0mics Linsner and Greg Williams / the Dark One comic books publication Sirius that was 1994 to 2007. So then, right when that ended, actually, they're not related, but you've got Jenna Jameson's Shadowhunter. So this novelty of just having like a porn star headlining a comic book from Deepak Chopra and Richard Branson, I find amusing. She's done other comics. I haven't seen any. This ran for 3 issues. I've never seen the 3rd one out in the wild, as a matter of fact. It doesn't look like anything spectacular. As far as the likenesses of Jenna Jameson for all the different Virgin Comics variant covers that they made for this, I think the Greg Horn one is the most accurate. There's a Greg Land one for issue number 1, I think. And there's a Mike Deodato for issue 1. I don't think the likeness is anything like Jenna Jameson. And then there's some other variants for issue 2 that are pretty cool, but just thought that these were both the coolest. These are the ones that I found, and the issue 3, the last one, haven't seen it out in the wild. Just have to look for it online. And it's like a $3-4 comic. The shop figured because it was Jenna Jameson, and I totally agree. Like, they thought it might be like an $8-10 book, and I was like, I agree that you guys would think it would be worth a lot because of the novelty of it. And we're all around the same age, like in our 50s, so, basically. So they decided, maybe we should look it up. Because I'm like, I don't think anybody else is into this comic these days. The hype is around variant covers and option for this movie or television show. So that being said, they looked it up, and Overstreet was $3, and average price on eBay was $4. Interestingly enough, the average price on eBay was $4. I found shops using eBay as a price gauge to be inaccurate because of all the extra fees with eBay and all the shipping costs. So you would think that eBay would be more expensive, but sometimes shops use eBay as a reference, but they'll still mark the price down a little bit. Anyway, let me know y'all's thoughts on comic book shops that wait to price at the register, and then when they do, they use eBay. Do you think that when shops price their comics at the register that it should be like based off of GP analysis or cover price, or what's your take? Artwork on this isn't that bad. Yeah, this cover 3 was kind of like her fighting these demons like in the center, kind of like this type of view by Greg Horn. Not bad artwork at all. Wonder where this would go if this came out today. So this came out February 2008, April 2008. Issues 1 and 2 of 3, Shadowhunter. Gotta say, I recommend the link in the description. I did an entire video on the history of Virgin Comics, how it became Graphic India under the ownership of Liquid Comics. Peter Chernin, he used to work for Rupert Murdoch. He ended up having this investment firm that wants to turn these character-based assets from Virgin Comics into like the Marvel superhero franchise for India. He wants it to be like the Marvel superheroes of like that level of success in India, and push it across the world. Interesting to note, one reason why I always keep pushing these Virgin Comics character-based assets, not necessarily Jenna Jameson's Shadowhunter, but then again, when you look this up, it's listed in the price guides as Shadowhunter. They don't use Jenna Jameson's name. But I think today this would be a huge novelty. I don't think people would reject this a comic book headlined by a porn star at all. The amount of variant covers would probably triple. These have like 3 variant covers per comic. But point being, though, you had Stan Lee, one of his last creations was Chakra the Invincible, which was a collaboration with Graphic India. and Stan Lee's POW Entertainment, FYI. Fearless Dawn, that's right. This is pretty sweet. It's from 2010, Free Comic Book Day, one shot. It's just a compilation of different stories from Asylum Press. The first one is Fearless Dawn, written and drawn by Steve Mannion. Free Comic Book Day 2010, Fearless Dawn sampler. Check this out. Madman Comics. You know, when I was showing in my last video all those X-Force comics, the run that was written by Peter Milligan, art by Mike Allred, from X-Force 116 to 129, that first title to drop the comics code from Marvel. You know, I found out about that title, X-Force. It caught my eye when I saw the artwork on the cover, because I had found out about Madman first, and then X-Force, which I find interesting because typically it would be like I'd find out about somebody through a mainstream title like Marvel or DC. So I thought that was cool to note. Never hurts to check out something out bounds of your comfort zone, because I found out about Madman. I found out about this publication that Mike Allred started, and it's called AAA Pop. It didn't last for too long, but these are new Madman stories. So think of it like this. Although in 1992, from Tundra Press, you have the first self-titled comic book, Madman, right? That Tundra Press Madman title ran for 3 issues, written, drawn by Mike Allred. But before that, you have 1990's Graphic Music from Caliber Press, which ran for 4 issues. M-U-Z-I-K, Graphic Music. And before that, in 1990, you have Creatures of the Id, the one-shot from Caliber Press, that features an 8-page story about Frank Einstein from Caliber Press, written and drawn by Mike Allred. Its first appearance of Madman, Frank Einstein, and Caliber Press's one-shot Creatures of the Id. As far as I understand correctly, after Madman's 3-issue Tundra Press publication, you then have Dark Horse Comics, this comic book right here. From April 1994 cover date. Interestingly enough, though, this image right here, check this out. Show you this. In 2002, from this French publication, Atomics, Mike Allred had another comic book that I was reading that came out around the year 2000, early 2000s, from AAA Pop. And he had this team called the Atomics, and they were like in the same universe. They would occasionally meet up with Madman. And they were reprinting these AAA Pop, the Atomics comics, in 2002 in France under the publisher Organic Comics. And this is a Jack Kirby cover, the B cover. Don't you know? So for all you Jack Kirby collectors out there, one to look out for. I just found this out. And it was this artwork that I saw on the cover of X-Force 116. I was like, what the hell? Actually, it was like X-Force, I don't know, around 118, 119, and then that got me. It's like during that time, that was just getting me back into comics. I call that the new Marvel era. Other people have used it, that name. You don't hear it that often. Nobody's really talking about these comics as far as collectibles go. They had a low print run comics from 2000 to 2000, like early 2000s to like 2004, during that X-Force time. Now, 1994 had a high print run when this came out, and it's also from Dark Horse, so it's not like Caliber or whatever, some other indie publisher that might have a smaller print run. So I don't know how collectible this is. I would assume so as his popularity gains. Just a great, interesting, zany, weird-ass character that I just thought was awesome as far as thinking outside the box, something fucking different, bizarre. I don't care if it's just stupid weird. As long as the story and the plot altogether have an interesting narrative that has some fun to it, that isn't something that is based upon somebody's trust fund. Okay, so like the past 10, easily 15 years of comics. So shit like this, I fucking highly recommend you grab yourself some Mike Allred, Madman, just to check out. It's a different aspect of superpowered people. Isn't necessarily about being a superhero, but as you can see, this guy's got some notoriety to him that allowed him to help Marvel get back on track before they lost their shit again by 2008 when they got bought by Disney. But that is neither here nor there at this point. I think what's important is just to promote alternatives to the big two, and to promote taking new chances, trying new things. So that's what I got out of Madman. New awesome comic book experience. Speaking of which, on a different note, from going away from like a lighthearted, campy, kind of like take on comics, a little retro looking artwork, to the last one up. Splatter! A splatter! Check that out. I decided to get both. Don't know which one. Which one should I open? This is from May 1991. Tim Vigil cover. He also did an 8-page story. The first one that's right up in here. Whoa! Adults only, people. Dave Cooper, interior image here. Splatter number 1, May 1991. Published by Arpad Publishing, Chicago. So here's your Tim Vigil story at the beginning. Followed up with that's Guy Burwell. Guy Burwell is this writer, artist here. And then Dave Cooper does the next story here. Let's get to that real quick. Mark Fallader story. I love anthologies. Tried to liken my channel to an anthology, the magazine anthology that I've always wanted. showing off a little bit of new stuff, but mainly some cool back issues. How cool would that be if there was some type of magazine anthology that'd be available like that? In the meantime, well, this particular anthology ran for 8 issues. Fucking awesome. Some 1991 indie goodness from North Star. Tim Vigil cover. Splatter. Happy New Year. What do you think? As usual, your feedback is appreciated. For sure. Let me know what you think of this haul. This little bit of haul I got right here, last day of 2023. My name is Sequential Geek. I bid you all a happy new year. All the best for 2024. Much love. Thanks for swinging by. Your comments, always appreciated. Till next time. Peace.